Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Rachel Reeves has announced that she's got to find £20 billion worth of savings. This, strictly speaking, isn't true. That little 0.25% cut in bank interest rates last month earlier this month it was, wasn't it? Will take about 10 billion off that 20 billion black hole in terms of interest payable by the UK government. Another 0.25% cut, and that 20 billion has gone. And so from that point, of course, any tax rises or cuts to services is just sheer meanness. But I suspect they'll still happen. The reason is, of course, if they can increase misery, it's a good thing for them. Make people more dependent on the state and we control them. You know, when you got them by the balls, the body soon follows. However, there is a side effect of all the cuts that she wants to make. One of them, of course, being the winter fuel allowance. I'll speak about that particularly in a minute. But that, for example, is now going to be means tested, and only very few people will get that. And yet she's going to create so much misery with it, and it's not now necessary. That's the unfortunate thing. But all the cuts she's announced has, as I say, this side effect that I don't think anyone has been paying attention to, or if they have, there's literally been nothing about it. And that is, of course, that the Barnett Consequentials is based on a percentage of government spending. Now, she wants to cut spending big time. And that means the Barnett Consequentials money will be cut big time. By how much? $1 billion? $2 billion? Scotland is not functioning now in terms of income to expenditure. How much worse is it going to be when there's $2 billion cut from the Barnett Consequentials? Now, they work by, let's say Westminster decides it's going to build a stretch of motorway and that costs £500 million. Well, they then take a percentage of that and put it into the pot for the Barnett Consequentials. But, Scotland does not have to spend it on road maintenance or anything, but it's the Barnett Consequentials of road maintenance goes into the pot, and then Scotland gets that cut. And then health, and on this and on that, and all the different areas it goes in. But if all those areas are now spending less money, there's less percentage-wise going into that pot, which gets given to the Scottish Government. And therein is the problem. Now, I mentioned, as an example, the pensioners' winter heating allowance in England and Wales. It's not called that in Scotland. It has a different name because, everything's got to be different. Can't remember what it's called, but it's unimportant. The fact is that the same thing exists. Now, currently in Scotland, that is a universal benefit. Everyone gets it. But if there's a £2 billion shortfall in the Barnett Consequentials, they'll probably have to means test that. But that, of course, breaches, once again, a promise and a manifesto promise. Yet again, the SNP breaking their promises. Now, the SNP have been saying for some time now there's an £18 billion black hole caused by Westminster. It's no such thing. It's caused by 17 years of SNP overspending. And they've been highlighting this number. Oh, it's 18 billion, 18 billion, 18 billion, because they're gaslighting you. And then Rachel Reeves comes in and says about this, and I've already explained the 20 billion, which is now no longer another 0.25% cut, and that's not there at all. But that 0.25% cut doesn't apply to Scotland's 18 billion. That's just pure overspending. That's not interest rates or anything like that. So they're still going to have this £18 billion black hole. They're going to have to start filling that at the same time as maybe 2 billion is coming off the Barnett formula. Where are they going to save this money? Whose life are they going to make miserable? I suspect roads won't be repaired. There'll be no uplift for hospitals. It could get very serious. Angus Robertson might be limited to, say, caviar once a week. He'd hate that, wouldn't he? Oh, can only fly your business class, not first class. Shall have thought. That sort of thing, because they really will draw their horns in now and only fly business class rather than first class, that sort of thing. They only drink 5 bottles of champagne of an evening, These people live in another world. It won't be them going short. Oh no, siree, Bob. It'll be the people of Scotland who will suffer massively. I honestly cannot see where they're going to get this money. The Scottish Fiscal Commission has already said there's a £1.1 billion shortfall this year. Not likely to change for next year. So they could actually be, with the £2 billion cut for next year, £3 billion shy. Add that to the 18, all of a sudden you're 21 billion in the hole, with a party that employs a woman with an IQ of 86 to do the finances, and where everyone is obsessed about a single policy and no one can find the solutions, which are fairly easy, but for them, unthinkable. They don't want to close the embassies. They don't want to stop their foreign travel. They don't want to spend money where it's only necessary and not waste it on basically bollocks everywhere else. That's not the SNP way. So what are they going to do? Well, obvious, blame Westminster. Oh, look, we've only got this small amount from them for this year. Yes, based on the Barnett formula, the legitimate way of doing it, the way that you agreed to originally. You thought spending would rise year upon year upon year, and all of a sudden it hasn't, and you're screwed. They live, I don't know, mental. Now, there's a lot of benefits in Scotland. I think a lot of them benefits now will be, if not actually cut, then frozen. I think it may put a lot more children into poverty. They've already cut 200 million from the social housing budget, which is destroying homes, and the homelessness problem is getting bigger. And that is now going to become not just a crisis, but an emergency. I think a lot of people in Scotland will leave and come to England. That'll exacerbate the problem as well. I think anyone who works will be very concerned, because I think the only thing that the Scottish government can do is put taxes up in the mistaken belief that that will help, which of course it won't. There are hundreds of thousands of pensioners in Scotland that are going to suffer greatly this winter, next winter. But I think after that, probably won't be that many pensioners left. This is a government that is working actively against the people of Scotland, and the people of Scotland have got to do something about it. There's only one way of getting them out, and that's not give them your ex. Thanks a lot. Bye.